Why do you love asking an actor how the scene plays out?
Well, first thing I do when I get to when I get to the set, I or when I get ready to do a scene, I always ask the actors, "How do you see it playing out?" I do not come in heavy-handed with, "Okay, here's what we're going to do." I want to know how they see it play out. One of the reasons is that the actors are, from my experience, usually very much involved in their own character. So they really know it better than I know it. And if I tell them, here's where you're going to stand, here's where you sit, here's what you're going to do here, here's what you're going to do there, then it's going to look a certain way. I have this theory that we are using these new cameras now, 4K, 8K, 6K cameras, and they pick up everything. And a lot of times they're picking up blemishes, and some actors don't like that and stuff like this. But I have this theory that they also pick up when you don't believe it. They can tell. Therefore, it's always best to let the actors get there on set and figure out the way it plays out amongst them in the most organic way. And my job is to capture it, not to over-direct it. Because if you over-direct, I can see it and people can see it. Let it play out. And then while they're letting that play out, I'm telling my director, my DP, let's do a 35 here, let's move this scene here, left, right, blah, blah, blah. And then if we see something on some of the takes, once they've made it their own, then I can make an adjustment later if I really want to see something. Give me a little bit more. I'll tell them, let him calm you down. If you're crying, calm down a minute, and then, let it play out a little bit longer, and let's see how that works. And if not, that's fine. But what you did is great. I also like to say a lot that I use a line that meaning after we do a little bit of coverage, I'll say, "We're playing with house money now. Do what you want." Sometimes that's true and not true, but I still tell it to them. Sorry, actors, I'm doing that to you. But sometimes I always don't have it. But I always tell them, you're playing with house money. It makes them the most relaxed in that circumstance. So, and I always let them know that it's great. It's wonderful. I said, we got it. Fantastic, move on. And that confidence builds and builds and builds so that it's a lot of yeses, It's a lot of yes, it's a lot of good. It's a lot, I got it, I'm happy. Because that's really ultimate what actors want to believe, is that the director's happy with their performance. That's a big deal for them.
So when you do have that talk of how do you see the scene playing out, and it differs vastly from your idea, you let them try one way your way and one way theirs, or do you talk it out and say, that's interesting, why do you see your character? Because ultimately they would know their character some sense much better than you would, or you would think, because they're inhabiting it, they've thought about it.
Well, yes. I try not to say, no, that's not right. I would say, okay, well, I saw a little bit more this way or that way. Show me what you're talking about. And they'll either in the blocking or in a take, they'll show me. And then I'll say, okay, all right, cool. Just do that one more time. I'll do it on the reverse. But do one like this. Do one where you look a little bit more angry. Because what happens sometimes is it happens a lot with with comedy. They'll be a little bit more funny. I think it's maybe better to be a little bit more deadpan about it, or not have it be something that's trying to be too funny, because comedic timing, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So I always let them do what they feel, though, unless we're completely out of time. But I never would tell an actor, don't do it like this, do it like that. Never. Because there's just not much good that comes from that, You just have to let those kind of scenes play out and let the actors figure it out themselves. And usually, if you have faith in that, usually it turns out pretty good. Actors know what they're supposed to be doing. They're studying it more than I am. They're thinking about it in much further dimensions than I am.
So pivot to yes.
Pivot to yes.
I like that. It's good. How do you get the best performance out of an actor?
Well, it's really up to them to do it. It's going to be out the page or what's on the page. But at the end of the day, the best performance out of the actors, in my opinion, is to step back and let them perform, and you give them a lot of praise and a lot of reassurance. You just have to say, looks great, sounds great, even if there is little adjustments that you see. The more comfortable they are, the better performance you will get. I'm convinced of that. So it's about creating the comfort area. A lot of times I like to show them the shot, what they look like. I'll take a picture of it, say, look how good you look. It's amazing framing, right? Okay. And it gives them confidence and reassurance that everything's going to be fine. And let them do their thing. So I find that the best way to do that is like that. You do to a lot of adjustments, and don't say the, say the, and things like that. They get in their own head and get in. It's just better if you just let them just relax. Just do it. What you see, work within the space. This is what you do. This is your moment. It's on you. Camera's on you. So just relax, and I'm loving everything I'm loving all the things that you're bringing to it. So just keep going, and we'll make sure that we get it.
So you're not necessarily showing them the dailies, or maybe you are, but you're showing them how the scene, how the establishing.
No, we don't show them dailies.
You don't show them dailies.
If I really like their shot, I'll show it to them. I'll play it back for them to show them, because it just creates a general confidence in the whole filmmaking team that this film you're going to look great. You're going to look fantastic in this film. And that confidence gives them, I feel, relaxes them and gives them a stronger sense of comfort throughout their performance. And I think that's where it comes from. I mean, some people, get really in there, and directors really get in there and say, I do it like this and do it like that, and really direct them. But I feel like just let them go and figure it out. And it's one of the things you learn about edit too. You learn that when you edit, when you learn editing, you learn that you control so much. And so you don't have to be so controlling on set. You can let the set play out, and you can be much more controlling in post, frame by frame. So let it play out so that there's more natural stuff, so you can get better performances. But they usually give you, if they trust you, they'll give you a lot, usually.
So the director, let the actor do their thing, editor, control it.
Yes, I'm going to say something relatively controversial. My feeling is always that, and actors don't like to hear this as much though, that a film with all of its glamour and sets and trailers and people with headphones on and clipboards and cameras rolling, that's really ultimately like shopping for food. You're in the grocery store. You're getting the spices, you're getting the meat, you're getting the vegetables. You cook the film in the edit. That means here's how much spice, here's how much salt, here's how long you cook the meat. Do you sear it? Do you cook it through? Do you put it in the water and make a broth out of it? Now, so that means that when you're filming, you're just gathering ingredients, okay? The editor and the edit team and the team that is getting final cuts and doing the rough cuts and the final cut and everything else is what's actually creating the meal. And then the presentation of the meal is done through things like sound design, composing, color correction, so forth and so on. So that's where you cook up the film. So with that in mind, I can relax a little bit on set and not be so, it's got to be perfect like it's going to be in the edit. It's okay. Have that. If I don't love this angle, I'll go on the reverse and get it. Just be comfortable, be relax, and get through it. And that's kind of my philosophy on that.
Why is the first take and the last take with an actor usually their best?
Well, the first take is in my opinion, going to be the most natural. It's what they are going to bring to it. And it's also, they know they're going to get another one. So they're relaxed. And a lot of times you'll get the very best take in the first take. It also informs thematically or energetically how the scene will go. Meaning it's like a guide. We all do a version, all your takes are a version of the first take. It didn't exist until you did the first take. So now it's a guide. This is where he's going to pause. This is where he's going to put the glasses up. This is where he's going to put the glasses down. This is where he's going to grab the cigarette. This is where he's going to walk out the door. The last take is my take. That's the one I can say I'm moving on because I got it. So whatever issues are from the first take to the second to last take will be made perfect in the final take. So, and that's the one that we've been through it a few times, we've lived through it, we've worked it out, and then it's the final one is the one that we'll usually print and usually use, and then of course, if you're doing not cross coverage, you're doing traditional coverage, you could turn around and then they can relax and give the other person the chance to do the same thing. So it's like, so that's first and last take are the most important. The rest in the middle, you can grab pieces of those in the edit sometimes if you need it. There's any kind of focus problems or something like that. But as a general rule, I like to use those two takes in the final edit.
Do you do a lot of martial arts or have like an Eastern philosophy sort of teachings?
Me personally?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I do martial arts movies, but
oh, I see.
But
Okay.
no. I just, what I do though is I just have a kind of general faith in the universe and try not to over control things and to exude a calmness throughout all the areas of my life. And it usually, works very well on a set where people are chaos and a lot of chaos. I tell directors, say, hey man, if you lose it, everybody's going to lose it. Meaning a new director, whatever. So you've got to keep your calm. Got to keep it together, no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets. Just keep it together. We're all going to make it. It's the universe provides. So yeah, I don't have any, but no, Zen stuff or anything like that. Just regular stuff.